Watch this. All right, so the tempo for this one is 130 beats per minute and it's produced by ARIZONATEARS. This is the Lil Uzi Vert Watch This Pluggnb remix, so let's get to it. We're gonna start off with the main key sound that you hear throughout the entire record. So that group is broken down into 3 different instruments. First off, we have the piano. And for that sound, I'm using Logic's Steinway Grand Piano, and I made sure the velocity is all the way up to 127, so you get that hard keys feel. Layered with that, underneath it, we have 2 types of pads and synthy type of sounds. One sounds like this, same chords. So that kind of gives it the ambience and space. For that sound, I am using a preset found under keyboards called Electric Sheep Synth. And then layered with that, we get more of like sort of a retro synth type of thing. For that, I'm using Logic's Retro Synth. And the plugin is called, the preset is called Retro Strings. You can find it under Synth Strings, Retro Strings. And then at the end of this pattern, we have a little bit of a sort of pluck melody thing. And it sounds like this. And that just uses the same piano as before. But the sauce on this one over here is a bunch of effects to this group. So let's go ahead and take off everything that I added here and we'll go through it one by one. So this is what it sounds like in its dry format. To start, I just pulled in an EQ, just took out some of the lows to make room for the 808 that comes in later. Then I brought in a delay or an echo, Logic's echo, because on the original track, it sounded like there's a little bit of a delay on the keys. Every time it hit, it sort of rung out a little bit. So I just put a quarter note delay on it right over here. Just gets it a little bit more vibey. Then on top of that, we got a chorus. Using the Guitar Summer preset in Logic's chorus, just makes it a little bit more creamier. Then on top of that, we have this tape delay. Now we're not using it for a delay, but rather pitch modulation so that the pitch sort of shifts a little bit as it plays out. So to do that, you could just pull in Logic's tape delay over here, turn down the delay to 0, turn down the feedback to 0, turn the output to 100% wet, dry 0, pull up the rate to 1 Hertz and the intensity 20%, and you get this sort of pitch modulation wobble type of sound. So that's an extreme case of it. I'm just going to pull that back. It gives you that retro type of vibe. And then on top of that, we have a little bit of reverb. Using Logic Space Designer. And then finally, on top of that, I brought in an instance of Logic's Vintage 2BQ and just sort of boosted the highs a little bit just to open it up a little bit. It's kind of a little bit closed dark now. Moving on in the track, we get this sound over here. Definitely the defining sound of this song. So for that sound, I am actually using Logic's Retro Synth here, the default setting that loads up. Now I didn't really change anything over here, but if you go over to settings, you're gonna wanna change the polyphony to legato. And that's pretty much it. And then play around with the glide time right here. I have it set to 55 milliseconds and you pretty much got that sound. The only thing I did here on the EQ was sort of tame a little bit of those harsh highs and brought in a little bit of reverb as well using Logic Space Designer. So that's without the 2 effects. We'll bring back the EQ and the reverb. All right, moving on, we get some strings. For this sound, it's fairly simple. I just pulled up Logic's Cinema strings. You can find that under orchestral strings, Cinema strings. So the entire melody together sounds like this. Moving on to the drums. So we have a clap, just on the threes, our hi-hat, just kind of like a bouncy hi-hat. We have a little bit of a triplet repeat right over here. Now on the hi-hats, I noticed in the original track, there was a little bit of a delay on the hi-hats. So without that, it sounds like this. I'll take out the reverb as well. So on the track, it sounded a little bit more dreamier and it sounded like there's a delay on it with some reverb. So that's what I did. Put in an 1/8 note delay on top of that hi-hat. Gives it a little bit more of a ride. And then of course, the reverb to give it that space. Then we got the 808. Then we got the kick, which just sits on top of the 808. And all together. Alright, so let's go and take a listen to Lil Uzi Vert's Watch This, the Pluggnb remix from the top. Let's go. So that right there is Lil Uzi Vert's Watch This, the Pluggnb remix, remade in Logic Pro. For your Logic users out there, I'm going to go ahead and save this entire session for you. Place it as a downloadable link below this video. If you don't use Logic, I got your back as well. I'm going to go and export all the MIDI stems, audio stems, and include the drum kit as well. You can find that playback down below the like button. But if you have any questions on this or just want to chat, let's go and talk in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.